January 24th, 2020, the East Chicago Fire Department and East Chicago Police Department made an appearance at the Northtown Senior Apartments with a discussion about both fire safety and risk prevention and management. Chief Fire Inspector Damon Carpenter and Deputy Chief Jose Rivera came on behalf of their respective departments with discussions on the topics at hand.
Okay, my name is Damon Carpenter. I'm the Chief Fire Inspector with the East Chicago Fire Department, and just wanted to come and talk to you a little bit about fire safety. Is that okay? Yes. Okay, so the way this works and the way it works best is I need interaction. So I need your questions, I need your comments, because I can sit up here and talk to y'all till I'm blue in the face, and that's going to take a long time, but nobody will learn anything. That won't do anything good. So I'm going to go off my notes because I'm smart enough to know that I'm not that smart. So there's some key points that I want to cover. I also have some handouts and some information in case anyone would like any, or you could think of someone, and I'll have that up here available after my little chit chat. So it'll probably take about 20 minutes or so, and y'all can get on y'all's way. So did you know that the older you get, you have a greater risk of dying in a fire?
No.
Yes. Yes, sadly that is true. Because as we get older, we move slower. We do. We don't hear as well. We don't see as well. Sometimes we take medications that kind of mess us up too. So, and that's something we have to be very careful of. So just knowing that fact already is one of the things. So as I was preparing for this, I've looked through some of these, and y'all gonna be mad at me about a couple of them, but we're gonna work it out together, okay? So, and they say if you're 65 or older, I don't see anybody here over 65, but they say if you're 65 or older, you're twice as likely to die in a fire. So I'm glad I'm here with these spring chickens nowadays. So just when y'all get to 65, about 10 years, just kind of know you might be twice as likely to die in a fire. So you just want to be careful. Welcome, come on in. Okay? So now we're going to talk about cooking. That's one of the biggest things with cooking, because most fires start because of cooking. So what happens when we cook? Turn the heat up. Sometimes we get distracted, the phone rings. Watching TV, the more you want to know who the daddy is. So you know that pot close to being done, you're like, I got to watch this, so you run away from it, you walk away from it. So, but you just want to pay attention. And a lot of the stuff y'all know, it's just a reminder because you don't think about it every day. And so make sure the handles are turned in. Sometimes you can even set a timer. If something's going to be ready in a half hour, just set a timer, because I'll forget myself. I know that. So I have to set a timer. I used to try to cook from the other room. I used to try to cook from the bedroom or something. My mom and daddy be like, you can't cook from the bedroom because I'm impatient. So I go ahead, throw a pizza in the oven, throw something in the oven, and try to leave the room. And so I burn it every time. So, but it's just little things like that you want to just kind of be reminded of. Like I say, set that timer. I even do that now. 15 minutes, set that timer. Because I know me, I'm going to get distracted. I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to get on the computer. I'm going to get on something. So in these winter months where you don't want to go outside, it's 55 below, got snow outside, we like to stay inside where it's warm and toasty and cook ourselves a little something. We ain't even got to get dressed. So we put on our nice big fluffy bathrobe and we go cook us a little bacon and eggs. But no, we shouldn't do that. We should not wear a bathrobe. Does anyone know why? That's right. She's absolutely correct, because the sleeves, most bathrobes are soft and plush, and the sleeves are over big. That's why we wear it. We don't want to be tight and constricted, wearing a tie and all that, a collar, like a priest. No, we don't want that. We want nice something. But as she said, you reach over, and that's what catches fire. Yeah. So you just have to be careful of that. So you want to wear something that's a little more tight-fitting or short sleeves just for a little bit. So I know that make you mad. It makes me mad when I think about it, but I burned myself while cooking by reaching over the eyelid and burned all the hairs off my arm. So I'm not that smart. I told y'all that. So just play along with me. So also when you're cooking, get a grease fire. We don't put water on the grease fire. Keep a lid or something nearby, so that in case the fire flares up, you can just cover it. So, but yeah, no water on the grease fire, because what's going to happen, you're going to put that water on there, and that fire is going to spread. That grease is going to be right on top of the fire. It's just going to slide on over. And it's gonna catch the countertop, the cabinets, everything down the stove, down the side, and you'll have a much bigger problem. So just keep a lid or something nearby. You know, and I know y'all been cooking for a long time, but it's just sometimes we forget things or we get distracted, you know? The fire alarm. So any questions on cooking? Now, one thing, sometimes we do get false alarms. Pay attention to the alarm. Because, it'll be like the little boy that cried wolf. Hit an alarm. Oh, it's just an alarm, you roll over. But then one time it's going to be that one fire. So, yeah, sometimes you're not cooking. We could talk to them about looking into the system because it's got to be checked every year. So they'll check that and check the sensitivity of it. Another thing we don't want to do when we're cooking, we don't want to cook when we're sleepy. We don't want to cook when we're tired or when we had a little bit to drink. I know, hey, I don't judge, but sometimes a little drink be all right. But you don't want to cook when you take that medication because some medication is going to make you tired. It's going to make you sleepy. And you don't want to cook then. You kind of want to get that taken care of before. Hey guys, I want to introduce you to Deputy Chief Jose Rivera. My hero's in the house. I feel safer already. I was nervous. I feel safer already. So I was like, they're going to jump on me. I tried to turn the heat down. They were going to get me. I said 911. So, but yeah, when it comes to that cooking, just be careful with that, okay? So next we're going to talk about candles. Well, before we go back, let me go back. Oh, yes, we have a question.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said that someone mentioned about the fire alarm going off that early in the morning like it did in my apartment, not in the building, just in my apartment.
Okay.
And I was asleep. And of course it woke me up, scared me to death. I didn't know what was going on. But it was in my apartment. So you said pay attention.
Yes.
To what's going on.
Yes.
And I was paying attention. Of course, I checked everything, but the fire department still, I don't know why it went off. I was not responsible for it going off.
No, that's fine. It's best to be safe than sorry. We're here 24/7, 365. If you have a doubt, if you just think you smell gas or smell smoke, call us. It's better to be safe than sorry because we want to come here and find out it's a false alarm than to find out that something was happening and it got the jump on us because we didn't respond in time because we got the call 15 minutes later than we should have gotten. So yeah, anything, if you're ever in doubt, pick up that phone. I said, that's what we're here for. Thank you. And we'd rather have a false alarm than have the real thing that's out of control. So some of y'all like the heat, some of y'all don't like the heat. So also, this time of year, we got the little small portable space heaters. So if you got those, a lot of them come with trip over protection. So that means that if they tip over or they trip, it'll cut off. Some of them don't. So when you're using those, make sure you plug them directly into the wall. Don't plug them into an extension cord or a power strip because they draw a lot of power. And what's going to happen, they'll overheat. So speaking of that, all appliances, refrigerator, stove, mini refrigerator, anything that takes a lot of power has to go directly into the wall, directly into this outlet. Because what's going to happen is, as it starts to heat up, because y'all remember, y'all might be old enough to remember this, but back in the day when the refrigerator would kick on the compressor, the motor, all the lights would dim. Or you got the air conditioner in the window, you turn that on and that's that power. And so that's what heaters use, and refrigerators still use that same kind of power. And if you have one of the little thin extension cords from the dollar store, it's going to burn it up and start a fire. I've seen it happen too many times. So just remember to plug things directly into the wall. And try not to use extension cords. You got the little power strips. Those are better because they got a little circuit breaker on there, a little surge protector. So just try to use those. So we're going to talk a little bit about candles. Some people still use candles. Not too many people use candles. No? Anybody here still use candles? I still got a couple. And it's a true story. You see? There you go. Me and you together. We understand each other. Last week I was coming down with this little cold or something tried to get a hold of me. And so my friend told me, get a bath. I'm like, okay, so I draw myself a bath. Is that what y'all, that's what we do? So I got a bath, put some Epsom salt and some, what do they call that? Essential oils, peppermint. And so I'm like, I'm gonna relax a little bit. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna relax, I might as well put a candle in there. So I had two little jar candles. And so I lit my little jar candles And I had my phone, it was low, so I put the charger, and as I was getting in the bathtub, I had some little bath bombs, them little things you throw in the water, and suds. I thought they was for girls, they said they're for guys too, I don't know. But my friend gave me some, so that's what I used. And so I get in the tub, and I smell some smoke. What had happened, the cord from my cell phone, the charger, had knocked the little package onto the candle. And so now that's just started smoking and caught fire. So I got to jump out the tub, soaking wet, get over there, and I almost left the room beforehand. Good thing I didn't, because I'd have come back and it'd have been a fire. So candles are just very bad. So they got the little flameless candles that flicker, and they do all that. I know, it would not look good. I burned myself up. They were trying to take my job. They were like, he can't help nobody, he can't help himself. So you just want to be careful with those candles. And they recommend, if you do have candles, don't use them in the bedroom. What? It may be back at that's where you want them, Little Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, little Al Green, some Marvin Gaye. Now you got all this going on, you can't have no candles? So just be careful if you do use the candles. Get the ones because they got the candles battery operated, got a little flickering light, and just get some of those. Or if you do use it, just make sure everything stays 1 foot away. So how big is 1 foot? Yeah, about like this. So just make sure the candle's here. Make sure that everything is clear that distance. Speaking of which, when you got them little heaters, make sure you keep 3 feet away from the heater, because those catch fire. Something, a drape or your robe, your house coat or something leaning up against it. Yeah, you just want to keep that away, keep that clear. So remember, and if you do put the candle on something, make sure it's got a sturdy base, not a paper base, because when it melts down, we don't want to cause no fires. We want to keep y'all safe so that y'all can reach that ripe old age of 65. Okay? So now we're going to talk a little bit about escape plan. So you may or may not be familiar with what an escape plan is. And what that is a plan so that if there's a fire, you know how to get out, where to get out. So if your apartment's right here, you know where the nearest stairwell is, because sometimes you're not supposed to use the elevator. That may not be the best thing. So, yeah, so you know where the staircase is, and if this one's blocked, where the other one is. Because see, what's going to happen in a fire is you're not going to be able to think. I can tell you that, yeah, it's just human nature. You can't think and act at the same time. So much going to be going through your mind, and you won't know. So that's why if you have that fire escape plan, and you'll know, okay, I ain't thinking, I'm just automatic. Just like right now, you know your apartment, inside out, back of your mind. You turn the lights out, you all get up, go to the kitchen. You don't have to turn the lights on. You know where everything is, where the counter is, where you left your slippers and your house shoes or whatever. You know all that stuff. So your fire escape plan, you just want to start thinking about that. Because, Lord forbid, something happens, you want to be able to get out. And you guys do have a lot of exits. You got sprinklers. You got things like that that are good. That's going to help you and buy you time. So this is a very safe building. So, but yeah, just do that fire escape plan. Always want 2 ways out. And if you can't get out, smoke is coming in, lock the smoke under the door. Call 911, tell them where you at, what apartment. Take something light colored out the window, wave it. Fireman's coming to see you. We're going to find you. So if you have to stay in place, but just stop that smoke from coming in, because most people in a fire, they die from smoke, not from the fire itself. That smoke inhalation. It's horrible. Yes, ma'am.
But if you open that window, don't the make the flames?
If your place is on fire, yes. Because fire needs 3 things to burn. It needs oxygen and fuel and they changed the fire tetrahedron to uninhibited chemical reaction. But yeah, you do need oxygen, you need fuel, and you need heat. And so if you got all 3 of those things, you remove one of those, you remove the heat, the fire go out. You remove the oxygen, the fire go out. You remove the fuel, the fire go out. But if your house is on fire, if your place is on fire, if there is a fire and you add more oxygen to it, because see what happens, if this door is closed, I'm not going to lock him out because he's going to tase me. If this door is closed and there's a fire in this room, after a while, the smoke that's so bad that we all choke off from smoke inhalation, what's going to happen is the fire needs the oxygen, it's going to put that fire out. It's just going to burn itself out until someone opens the door, someone opens the window, and it gets that oxygen and boom, there it goes. You can, if your place is on fire, just get out, leave. That's the main thing. So you don't want to open your apartment door, then open the window because the fire's going to come that way. The fire's going to fire the oxygen. Like a mummy. Ooh, yeah.
Well, do we put a wet towel?
You can just put anything. Yeah, in theory it's a wet towel, but are we going to remember to put a wet towel down, or are we just going to say no? But if that smoke's coming in, just start blocking it. Put something down, blocking it if you want to go back and get a wet towel. But the main thing is just to get out of there. Call 911, let them know where you're at. I'm in apartment such and such, 555.
But there's a space around all of our doors, even if you block it under the bottom, you get this on coming through the side.
Really?
Yeah, there's a gap or a space.
Right into the seal.
Okay, well, that's good. That's why you should put something there. If you got a towel, you got a sheet, you got a jacket, because you want to block that. Because if the hallways are full of smoke, it's going to start to come in. It's going to go up. Oh, at the top?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because you can see the light from the hallway through the door, the sides of the door.
yes.
And so that's the opening that oxygen can come in and
Right.
instead of help feed that fire.
Yes.
Even if you put the things at the
Underneath, you got something on the sides or the top. Okay, I got it. Well, just do the best you can. Main thing is we want to know where you're at. So dial 911, get to the window, wave, holler, and we're coming to get you. Okay. One more thing with the. Yes, please.
My question is, if you have smoke or something in your apartment, the fire department is triggered for our building to come straight there?
Yes.
Straight to your apartment?
Yes.
Okay, well, I had an incident that happened, they never did come.
Okay.
So I had to end up calling 911 and telling them, I said, what an emergency, it's just my detector is going off. But they never showed up. It was like 20 minutes, and they had never did come. So I called 911, and I told her, I said, it wasn't an emergency, nothing on fire, but detector is going off.
Okay.
And so then they sent them out then.
Yeah, that depends on how the detectors are wired. Now, some detectors are wired with the whole entire building where one person's detector goes off, then the fire department comes and wakes everybody up, but we used to have a lot of that. They still do. But the main thing is that the hallways have smoke detectors so that if something were to happen and they get out in the hallway, then that's going to trigger the fire department. But if you smell smoke in your own, just get out, go to your neighbor, or dial 911. But the main thing is when you have the fire escape plan or just anything, when you want to get out and stay out, please. Don't go back because you forgot your purse or your wallet or your cell phone, or you forgot to tell Susie B, hey, something's going on. She'll get over it. So what you want to do, just get out and stay out. So just remember that, don't go back for anything.
I'm going back to my dog.
No, you better, no. Okay, she said she's going back for her dog. That's what Elaine says. Now, yeah, a lot of people get hurt going back for pets. And you know what? Most of the times, the pets make it out of the fire. In my experience, the pets make it out of the fire. And here's why. Because fire burns up and out. Smoke goes up. Most pets, low. They're down small. And they know how to get out. And so they'll hide in places under the bed, but they know where it's low and it's cool at. And so very rarely do we find a pet has died in a fire. Most times pets get out, especially cats, they'll be hiding them, they're sneaky. They be hiding them over someplace anyway. And so, sorry, I ain't trying to offend no cat lovers, but cats got their own personality. And so, a lot of the times they're like, my cat's and such and such. We've gone in places that have been boarded up, had a fire, we boarded it up. Days later, we go there, meow, meow, and cat be there. So I'm like, it's not worth it. So your dog's gonna be all right. So,
Thank you. My little 10-pound Shih Tzu will be.
yeah, 10 pounds. Oh, yeah, that's close to the ground. I'll be chilling, waving at you. So now when you do your fire escape plan, make sure that you know where your stuff is. So if you need assistance, you need a chair, keep that near your bed so you can get out. If you need a cane or a walking stick, keep that near your bed. If you need your glasses or your hearing aids, keep that near your bed so that if something happens, it's all right there. You don't have to try to run to the other room and then something happened to you. Yeah, well, hopefully not, but maybe, but at least to be close. That's right.
You don't know what's going on.
You're right. And you know what? Everything can be replaced. And I try to tell that to kids. you know, because they want to go back and get the game system and the Nintendo and all that. But everything can be replaced except for you. So you think, you know, pictures, family photo, but if you don't make it out, none of that means anything. You know, your jewelry, you know, maybe your husband gave it to you or your kids gave it. They make more of that. You can get more of that. You really can. And will it hurt? Yeah. Will it disrupt you? Yeah, but you can get more. You know, speaking of fire alarms, if people are hard of hearing, like really bad, they have what's called a bed shaker. So that they may not hear the fire alarm when it goes off. So they have them that are blink and also it'll shake and vibrate the bed. So when the alarm goes off. So the American Red Cross has those. So.
I have a question.
Yes.
Like, how do you determine where a fire, say like I'm in my apartment and the alarm going out, open the door, I don't know to go left or right. Is there some kind of way you can determine which way the danger is so you won't go towards?
Usually, if you're just coming out your apartment and you want to know where the danger is, she asked a very good question. She said if she's coming out of her apartment, the alarm goes off and she wants to escape, which way does she go? Does she go left or right? Or since y'all are facing this way, she go right or left? It just depends. You have to pick a way. Pick the one that's closest to you. And if you're heading that way, because usually you'll see the smoke, and then that's how you know. But the first thing you should do,
Most of us, vision.
yeah, vision. So, but the first thing you do, well, you know what? I'm gonna help you. So when you get ready to get out your apartment, I'm laying in bed asleep, you know. I ain't gonna see who the daddy is on Maury because it's a doggone fire alarm that went off. But I'm gonna have to catch the rerun. And so I hear that alarm, and the first thing I'm gonna do is touch this door handle, see if it's hot. You know, because you don't want to open the door and let fire in. So touch it, peek, it's clear. When you step out, you'll be able to feel. Sometimes you may not see the smokers, but sometimes you can feel the heat. So just use your senses. Your eyesight may not be the best, but use your hearing, use your nose, use your smell. Just see what your skin is telling you as far as which direction. If you go a direction, choose a direction and go. You go one way, that's not it, turn around and go the other way. So smokers, I ain't gonna sit there and call nobody out for smoking. I don't judge nobody. But we just gotta be careful with the smoking. You know, and never smoke in bed. You know, so many fires tragically have happened that way because of smoking in bed. So make sure you got nice big sturdy ashtrays, put your cigarettes out, smoke outside if you can. If not, put them out in sand. They got a little sand and different things, little rocks. Make sure you keep the smoking materials put up because sometimes you have nieces, nephews, grandbabies that come there and they don't know. They're intrigued by fire. You know, we had a fire here a couple months ago on the other side of town where little kids were playing with fire. You know, playing with matches, caused a fire. Luckily, everybody got out. But a young lady had left the room to make a bottle for the baby and came back and the 5-year-old was playing with the lighter and it was on fire. So thank God everyone got out. No one got seriously hurt. But it's just curiosity. Just make sure you have those things put away. So.
And one of the good things is effective January 1st, 2021, the building will be smoke-free. So HUD is going towards smoke-free buildings. It's been 5 years. They want all of the buildings. So, you know, it's a year process. So we'll have counselors in for the smokers to come talk to you. Treatment is all will be free. So that's on our agenda actually for today.
Excellent. And if you do smoke, don't smoke if you got oxygen. Don't smoke around oxygen. Don't smoke near oxygen. Oxygen is not flammable, but it's going to feed the fire. We talked about that earlier. How if you give it oxygen, it's going to make the fire burn faster, hotter, brighter. So just be careful.
That's what a COPD, when you have that, you can be next to people that smokes too, right?
Right. Yeah, COPD is terrible, you know, because you can never feel like you're catching your breath. It's terrible. Man, Lord knows it's a terrible disease. It's horrible. You know, that's probably one of my biggest fears is drowning or something like that, because I think everyone's fear is not being able to breathe. And we have COPD, you know. Yeah, I used to work at the store, and this guy would come in, and he was thin. I guess everyone's thin compared to me. And so he would walk from the parking lot to the counter, and he leaned over, and he said, "You have a cigarette?" And I would tell him, "I don't smoke." And sometimes the other customers would be like, "Oh yeah, here I got a cigarette." He'd tell him, "Stop smoking right now." Say he has COPD. He said he was a smoker for so many years, he just tell everyone, stop smoking. He says, it's the worst thing ever. So now we're going to talk, wait, any questions as I go along before we get ready to wrap up? We're wrapping up in a few minutes. I know the fun's almost over. Can't hardly contain yourselves. Any questions thus far? Anything we covered?
Why don't we have fire drills in this building?
You know, actually, fire drills are a very good thing. And we'll talk with the management about getting those done. Yes. Hey, we can work on those.
I lived in a senior citizen building, and we did have fire drills twice a year.
Okay.
And all the tenants, it was mandatory that all the tenants leave the building.
Which is good. Because some people, I don't need it. That's the person that's going to be in trouble and be asking for help or going to trip somebody else up, get somebody else caught up. You know, that's how that goes. So, but yeah, I'll talk with the young lady here, and we'll work on that.
One of the things that we were gonna talk about with him when he came, because you all have been asking for the 2 years for a fire drill. And Elaine and I talked about it, so that's one of the things we wanna set up.
Okay, any other questions? So, what to do if you have a fire? I think we covered most of those. Oh, we're down to our last page. So, stay calm. It's easy to say on paper, stay calm when there's a fire and that alarm's going off. You know, when firemen pull up to the scene and they see the fire, you know, our heart gets beating a little faster too. But it is best to stay calm as you can be. You know, it's just a natural reaction that you're going to get a little bit excited, but you just don't want to get out of sorts, as they say. You know, so just stay calm. Just remember, your focus is on surviving, getting out of the building. All that stuff behind you is just stuff. He said, just get you out safely. You can't be replaced. There's only one you. And everyone's going to miss you. Even your old crabby neighbor to be getting on your nerves, they're going to miss you. So we just want to keep you around. Okay? So remember, there's smoke. You hear the alarm, pay attention. Find out what's going on first. You know, if it's your apartment or not, you hear an alarm in the hallway, just find out what's going on. It'll only take you a few minutes. But then after that, you can go back to doing what you're doing. So the Price is Right, yes. Y'all still watch that Price is Right? I still watch it. Sometimes when I'm off, I can't watch it during the day though. You know, it ain't like Bob Barker. Bob was my man. Yeah. You still like it? Price is Right? Yeah. Are you good?
Am I good?
Yeah. No?
I watch it though.
Okay. Are there any questions for me about anything we went over? Anything in the fire department in general? Anything about life? I ain't got no answers, but I'll make something up. No? Nothing? Okay. All right. Jose, are you going to talk? No, I'm getting ready to wrap it up, man. I want to see how it's done. So I want to see.
No rush.
But I do have some information here. So I will leave these here. And if you guys need more copies, I'll bring more copies. So fire safety checklist. Don't let your home go up in smoke. Prevent fire from starting. I also got my cards up here in case you guys got any questions. You can call me, email me, you know. I'll leave this here too. So, anything else I can be of service with? Any other way I can serve you? You know, got some fire safety for seniors. When y'all get old enough to know about that, I'm gonna leave some of these here too. You know, y'all ain't ready for this. But keep them around. They last for about the next 6-7 years when y'all be needing them. Okay, well, thank you guys very much. Thank you, ladies. You're a wonderful audience. And whenever you want me to come back, call me. I'll come back. Okay? Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for welcoming me here, for letting me come here. I've actually only been here twice before. I said mainly downstairs. So it's my first time actually being up here. This really is a beautiful facility. I really, really love this building. We rarely get any calls here, which is actually a good thing. A very, very good thing. Well, my name is Jose Rivera. I'm the Deputy Chief of the East Chicago Police Department. Been with the department a little over 21 years now. Born and raised here in East Chicago, still stay here with my family. I got 2 boys. I won't say my age, but one of my sons shamed me. He's a fireman, so he's 23 years old. He's a fireman. My other son's a senior in high school. So, but again, we're from here, from the city. My wife's from here. My whole family's from here. So I have a lot of love for this city. Always trying to do everything I can for anybody that needs their help over here with us. As far as my responsibilities with the East Chicago Police Department, I am in charge of the Detective Bureau, the Gang and Narcotic Division, Internal Affairs, which is if you have a complaint on an officer, I deal with the discipline and the hearings of officers, and then the day-to-day operations, assistant the chief with the police department. We're a young department. If you haven't seen it, like they just say, he's 23 years old. The bulk of our patrol division are about that age. We have a large group of young officers.
My nephew just got on.
Great, congratulations. And we're hiring again. So we're doing another hiring process. So you will see a lot of new faces out there. Very, very young. Like I said, they're my son's age. Very, very young. Another thing you'll see also that the chief implemented is we changed a little bit about our uniform. So you'll notice that we went to a star badge. In the past, we had a teardrop badge. The reason why we changed was because from anything from code enforcement to the animal catchers, dog catchers, animal control, we're wearing the same badge. So people will get a little confused. Is that the police? Is it not the police? In the history of our department, it always started with the 5-point star, over 100 years. It didn't change until about the 60s, where one of the chiefs decided to do something new, and then everybody followed suit. Well, we decided to go back to distinguish ourselves from the other departments. So also you'll see some of the city departments drive the black trucks, just like us. We want people to be able to distinguish us from a regular city employee. Some of the issues that we have with the seniors, well, not with you guys, are scams. A lot of seniors are getting phone calls. Somebody won the lottery. I need your social security number and your phone number. They're saying, oh, you just received a package. Can you claim this package? What's your social security number and your phone number, name, driver's license number, back of the last 3 numbers on your debit card? Never give your information out. We've had people lose hundreds of dollars. We've had people lose tens of thousands of dollars. Very hard to prosecute cases like these because the phone calls are coming from India, Nigeria, somewhere outside the country. And they might call 1,000 seniors a day. All they need is one. They just need one of you to give your information. So never give your routing number, bank account number, or social security number over the phone. If you ordered something, they have it already. If you didn't order something, hang up on them. The best, or the newest scam we have right now is the packages. You have a package coming, confirm this package by giving me your information. If you know that you didn't order something, hang up. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to ask one question.
Yes.
They have been on the phone talking about NIPSCO calling for the tenants, like on the phone.
Yes.
And asking them questions. But they called my house, but I never did give them any information. They're saying they can help you with your NIPSCO bill.
Right.
And I told my husband that's probably a scam, and I never gave no information.
It is. NIPSCO will not call you for something like that. Remember, NIPSCO doesn't go out there looking for clients because they're a monopoly, basically. Everybody has NIPSCO. So NIPSCO is not going to go out there recruiting, asking for more people. Hey, come, you need our NIPSCO. No, NIPSCO controls what the cost is going to be. We have no say-so on it. So if somebody's calling you claiming to be NIPSCO, unless you called them with a problem, they're not going to call you. If they do call you, it's because more than likely it's going to be a robocall saying that the power's out in the whole neighborhood and your service will be back in service in between this time and this time. They're not going to call you and say, hey, by the way, what's your social? I got a better deal for you. What's your credit card number? NIPSCO does not do that. But will people use that as a scam? Absolutely. Same thing with Comcast, whether it's cable or alarm companies. Same with them. They'll probably call you and do the same thing. Do not give any information. The key thing is never give your information out.
I have one.
Yes.
I have one that came on my phone from FedEx.
Yes. That's the new one. Yes.
And they gave me the code and they told me to call them with my preference, phone number and everything.
Yes.
So that they can make the list. I don't
Yeah.
know nothing about this.
No.
I never seen the number.
So that's the newest one that just came out. They're doing 2 things. One, if they're not asking for your information, they're asking when are you going to be home. So if they're asking when you're going to be home, it's because they want to know when you're not going to be home. Don't give any information. No need to talk to them. You can just hang up or don't respond to the message. That one just came out about a week ago, and I know some of our officers have also received that same message.
There's a lot of different code numbers. And then
Right.
We need your preference. We need you to call us. I'm like, how did you get my phone number?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the bad thing about phone numbers is that if you have a cell phone, those companies sell your numbers. So you'll get phone numbers, you would get phone calls from people that you're like, I'd never give you my number. No, they sell those phone numbers.
Okay.
Yes.
One call from the saying he was from the police department,
Yes.
and we need help. He said, I need help. And I said, where are you coming from? And he said, from the police department. I said, we don't have no officers going around begging for one thing.
No.
That's what I told him.
So the police department does not solicit, the police department will not solicit any funds or money over the phone. If we're asking for donations for something, it's in person. You'll see us posted somewhere in full uniform, squad cars with the lights on, asking for something, and we don't even do that often. So the police department never asks for anything. If we do, it's in person. Even when we're investigating cases, we're coming knocking on your door in person. We're not going to call you and ask you anything. So people will try to use that because they're going to try and basically violate your trust. And what happens is now that person violated your trust, and now you're going to look at it as different. Like, no, somebody called to be the police, say they're the police. And now when we do call, fire department? No.
They send it in the mail.
Yeah.
And they ask you, did you get it? And they'll send that in the mail.
Really? No, I haven't.
The state, they said the state, it's the state, state police.
Oh, state police. Yeah, I'm not sure the state police.
No, they don't either.
I have a question. So, email too.
Yes.
Because I get emails sometimes that says, hey, your Amazon account or your Apple account.
Yeah.
And so I almost clicked on one of those a couple times, like, hey, whoa, my account's in trouble or something. So yeah, and that's just one thing I almost felt that. Just be careful with the emails.
Yeah, they look real legit.
They really do.
Yeah,
They do. So be careful. Just the key thing is if they're reaching out to you for information, don't give it. It's always safer to not give them the information. Okay, because if you give your information, now you're gonna have to go to your bank and change account numbers. You gotta change your debit card. It's so much legwork. And then doesn't mean you're gonna recover any of that money. That'll be depending on what bank that you bank with. Some banks will, some won't. So the best solution is never to give your information. Okay, so that's the biggest thing we have with the seniors. The second one is if you do have a vehicle, in the last 3 weeks, we've had 25 vehicles broken into. And it's all been in the harbor area. The one thing they had in common was they're leaving things in their vehicle. Something you think is very insignificant, like a phone charger. Someone will bust your window for that phone charger. An iPhone charger can run $10 to $20. Well, they can just bust your window and take it. Takes a second. The change drawer everybody has in their car, close it. If you leave it open, there could be $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 in there. They will bust your window and take it. So all the vehicles that were broken into recently, nothing significant was taken. Change and chargers. That's it. Nothing real significant. So don't leave any empty bags, even if you think to you, you know it's empty. But to the person walking past that wants to do something, he's gonna take a chance and see if something's in there. He might hit the jackpot, he might not. But he's gonna take a chance. If you have a book bag, any clothes, try to keep the inside of your vehicle empty as possible. Keep it in your glove box or in your trunk if you have to keep something in your car. Something that, like I said, something as little as tennis shoes, flip-flops. You don't know what that person's gonna think there's more in there. So they should be able to look in your vehicle and see nothing. Because for 25 cars to be hit in a 3-block radius, there's probably about 300-400 cars in that area. So they're targeting specific vehicles that they think they see something inside of. So if they see that you're an easy target, they will break your window. And if you haven't ever replaced a vehicle window, they average about $200 to $300 per window, depending on the make and model of the vehicle. And then if you have insurance, they don't always cover that. Because your deductible is more than what it costs to fix the window. So that was one of the biggest things we're having out now. Right now, we've been out there on foot, passing out flyers to all the residents. It's been happening during the midnight shifts. We have our midnight officers and supervisors actually parked on districts in the area where it's happening. They're actually calling it in that they're actually checking these areas. They're actively patrolling those blocks all through here, making sure anybody that's out there in the middle of the night or any suspicious vehicles, they're stopping them. So just in the last few days, our officers started doing that. They did catch a juvenile in a stolen vehicle in that area. So we're hoping he was a person that was involved in this. We don't know, but we're still going to continue to go out there. One of the things that we came to realize when this was happening was a lot of people weren't calling us and telling us that their car was broken into. Yesterday, as we went out there and passed out flyers, we saw a few other vehicles with their windows broken. But when you talk to them, they're like, well, my insurance is not going to pay for it. They didn't take anything. I didn't want to waste my time calling you guys. So it seems like it's not important, but to us it is, because how will we know that something's happening on your block if you don't tell us? So that means that block won't get patrolled. So even though it sounds like, very petty, maybe nothing happened, nothing was stolen, it's important for us to know so we can document, hey, we need to keep a special lookout on this block because this block was also targeted for theft, criminal mischief, burglary. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions is people think that, well, I don't want to call and make a report if I'm not going to get reimbursed by my insurance. It's important for us because we keep stats. We want to know what area to patrol. When we only have 8 or 9 officers patrolling the entire city, we have to designate which areas are the ones that right now things are happening that are hot, that we need to be patrolling a little bit more frequent. Well, the way we determine that is based on calls of service and reports. And that's how we determine where we're going to utilize our resources. And if I have extra units out there for overtime or a gang unit or a drug unit, I tell them which area to go based on the reports and who calls us. Even if you don't want to make a report, maybe you don't want to talk to dispatch, I agree. The new Central Dispatch Center is a little bit more difficult to deal with because a lot of the questions that they ask. In their defense, when you call dispatch, whether it's non-emergency or 911, as that person you're talking to and you're answering all these questions, they are dispatching us. So don't think because, oh my God, why are you asking all these questions? Send somebody already. My house is on fire. The guy is still here robbing us. She might be answering questions, but she's typing it on the computer to another dispatcher that's already sending us. So it's important to give all that information. Very important. Not come here now. There's been a shooting. Click. And we have no information to go by. It's better to keep talking. Just know that there's more than one dispatcher working. So with the technology that we have, especially in our squad cars, as they're typing on the computer in Crown Point, what you're saying, we're actually reading it on our computer in our squad cars, everything you're saying. So now the officers know how to respond. So don't think that because you're answering all these questions, that nobody's coming. No, we're coming. We're actually proud that when our officers are available, our time frame for answering a call is 2 to 3 minutes. It might seem like forever, because I've called myself from my own house. I was like, where are these officers at? And actually the time frame was about 1:45 seconds. But to me, it felt like a lifetime because something was happening at that moment. But our time frame is normally between 1.5 to 3 minutes. Here in the harbor, normally under 2 minutes. What delays it is that they're probably busy on another call, which is rare because we'll send somebody else. And if you ever have a complaint that you think, well, the officer took too long, or you weren't happy with the service, call us. Because we can track what the officer was doing prior to that call, how long it took him or her to get to that call, what he did on that call, and everything is logged. And if you're not happy, give us a call. Make a complaint. I won't know that the officer was rude or didn't do his job if you don't tell me. And sometimes it might be a bad habit of that officer, and he might have done it more than once. And I won't know unless you report it. So we will discipline the officer, whether it's through write-ups, suspensions, even termination. So we don't tolerate that type of behavior here in the city. And a lot of people say, oh, but that officer's always doing something wrong, or that officer's always rude. And we always have to ask, well, we have no complaints. How would I know that? But if you complain, I promise you, every single complaint is looked into. Something as simple as he took too long to get there, he refused a report, or I didn't like his attitude. Every single complaint is looked into. We call the officer in, he has to explain what happened, we look into it, we'll follow up with a phone call with you guys, we'll let you know what's going on with the complaint. And we also bring it up in front of the merit board. So how this affects the officer is if he continues his behavior, he won't be eligible for promotions. And if he continues doing it, he can actually be terminated. But the only way we can do that, we do a lot of training. So, and I'm glad you brought up training. So we changed our schedule on the police department where the state of Indiana requires us to have 24 hours of training for police officers to keep their certifications. We changed our schedules now where no officers off on Wednesdays. Wednesday is our training day. So that training can range from dealing with people, dealing with seniors, dealing with the handicap. It can range from weapons, dealing with how to make reports, how to drive your vehicle. There's so many different things we can actually train on. And we do it on Wednesdays. And now, instead of doing 24 hours of training, you're going to see officers with hundreds of hours of training, and it costs you nothing. We do all our training in-house. So a lot of our officers are certified to teach the police. So we do a lot of our training in-house. We have a real state-of-the-art facility. We have our own indoor firing range. We have indoor classrooms. And a lot of our training we have online. The officers can actually do their training in their squad cars on their laptop while they're working. So they get a lot of training. And we can actually specify what type of training. So if we have an officer that makes bad reports or has a bad attitude, we can actually give him training just on certain things dealing with that. So one officer might have training with firearms today, another one might have report writing, another one might have one dealing with special needs people. So all the training is actually, it varies. And we decide based on what we feel that officer needs. So anybody have any questions about anything police related? I'm surprised you guys being cross street from the park. No questions about the park cross street?
Well, y'all already know.
Now that I'm standing here, it's I can't help but to keep looking that way. There's a lot going on at the park cross street. It's a very busy park. So, but we are aware of it. Our gang and narcotic division is aware of it. I know it was a few years back. There was a misconception. People thought that we weren't going to arrest the elderly. So it was one time that we had a drug problem across the street where kids were finding needles at the park, baggies at the park. So we did an operation with the gang and narcotic division, and the average age of the person we arrested was over 65. We brought a paddy wagon. I think at that time we arrested 8 to 10 elderly people for narcotic-related offenses. Very difficult, to say the least, to get them just inside of a paddy wagon. You know, some of them, one was actually in a wheelchair. So, but then after talking to them, after dealing with them, a lot of the problem was drug abuse. They weren't selling drugs. They were medicating themselves. It was cheaper for them to medicate themselves with illegal drugs than it was with prescription drugs. So we have to be a little sympathetic, because the thing was, some of them were suffering pain. And the prescription drug, they only got so many for the month and only gave them so much comfort. Where if they shot up with heroin, it was cheaper and lasted longer. Now the side effects are horrible, and the potential of going to jail. So there's huge side effects to that, but we have to be sympathetic. So it's not always about going to jail. So we have to find treatment for them. We have to find something other than jail. If I send that person to jail, do you think they're going to come right back out and say, you know what, I learned my lesson, Officer Rivera, I'll never do it again. The pain went away because you put me in that paddy wagon and threw me in a cell? No. So you might have saw them back out there again and said, man, nothing happened. Arresting them is not going to take that drug problem away. So we have to find out, what can we do to help you so that this doesn't happen again? Because we can't tolerate you doing this out in the open at a park that's supposed to be enjoyed by everybody, especially kids. All the parks have been beautified in this city. Last thing you want to run into are some needles or open baggies or somebody overdosing. It has gotten better at this park. Do we still have the problem? Absolutely, we do. But the biggest problem is, again, every time we catch them, it's just a matter of they're self-medicating. So we have to figure out solutions on how to help them. Again, jail is not always the problem. It's not always the answer. Everybody always wants to call and say, take them to jail, problem solved. It's not. So we have to think of alternative methods to assist them. So we do work closely with other agencies to assist our homeless people, to assist people addicted to drugs. We don't always want to just throw them in a cell and think that that's going to solve the problem. But one of the things that we do ask is that now that I see this beautiful view, you guys please call us. That's one of the biggest things. We can't be everywhere at once, even though we have cameras all throughout the city, including the park. Our number one way of catching people is the phone calls. You can call anonymously. You do not have to leave your information. So the anonymous number, or I'm sorry, the non-emergency number for the police department is 660-0000. I know it's a long number. Or, like we tell everybody else, call 911. It's the same dispatcher. Whether it's an emergency or not, they're not going to tell you, hey, this is 911, don't call me for that. They're not. I'm telling you they're not. So if you can't remember that other number, the same thing I tell my family, just call 911. That's never changed. It goes to the same dispatcher, to the same center. They're going to get a hold of us. It's easier to remember. Nothing is insignificant. So if you see something that you think is suspicious, call us. You're going to know way before we do. You see that same vehicle driving around. You see that same person walking back and forth. You don't know what they're up to. Let us figure that out. Call us. It doesn't hurt. If I hurt somebody's feelings, that's okay. If I stop them, they get upset, that's okay. They'll get over it, right? They'll get over it. Hurting somebody's feelings is better than somebody getting hurt. Yeah, so if I have to stop somebody more than once, say, what are you doing over here? You're not from here. Why are you still around the senior center? And they don't like it, that's okay. Then don't come over here. Well, we have no problem hurting feelings. Do not let nobody in here. Let everybody go through that same procedure. Make it a habit. They might say they work for the city. You don't know that. Right. Make them go through that habit of actually hitting the numbers or calling whoever they have to call. I don't care if they work for the water department, if they work, whoever they work for. If they have an appointment to be here, let them call that person that they have an appointment with to let them in. If you don't have nothing to do with them, I'm sorry, sir, you have to call the person that.
And I must say, it has gotten better.
Yeah.
I mean, we had an issue, and since I've been working here, for some reason or another, every Monday I get here, that front door, something, people banging, people couldn't get in, something was happening with that front door. And so I finally studied it, and I'm like, this can't be. Every Monday I come in, there's something going on with this door. That's where I discovered and I learned, because I didn't know, that someone was tampering with the button at the top of the door that automatically allows that door to open. And I know that the fire department may come in once in a while. But every Monday, it was like, it was boom. The door was always open, 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 open. I passed out the memo. And you know what? It has gotten, I have to say, kudos to all of you all. It has gotten 100% better. That door, I haven't had any issues with that door on Monday morning.
That's good. Yeah, you shouldn't leave it. Don't leave it propped open for anybody, even for another resident. Yeah, because some residents might say, leave it propped open for me, and somebody leaves something in there. Don't do it.
And that's
don't do it. Yeah.
The button was being switched so people could come in and out.
Right.
So it's gotten better.
Yeah. And then before I leave, I really want to tell you guys, we have a tip line that you can call to be anonymous that goes straight to the police department. But I have to stress, it's an answering machine. It's a tip line. There's nobody actually answering it. We check it periodically throughout the day, but if something's happening now, don't call the tip line, call dispatch. But if something that you have information on or something you think you want us to check on, our tip line is 391-8500. It's just an answering machine. We've gotten so many tips there, whether it was from a shooting, a robbery, a burglary, suspicious activity. It could be because of abandoned vehicles. We don't care. It could be about anything. We'll make sure we assign it to the right division and we'll handle it. But you don't have to leave your name. You don't have to leave your number, anything. It's just something you want us to be aware of or a problem you want us to take care of, but you don't want to get involved. We're okay with that. You don't have to get involved. We don't want you to get involved.
I'll make copies and give you all.
Yeah, please. Yeah. But that number is very important because, again, we get so many people calling that number because, again, they don't want to put their information out there. They still got family out here. They still got to live out here, but they still want to do something. They still want to give some information that they found out about. So that tip line is very important. Like I said, it's just a regular old-fashioned answering machine. I don't even know if you can buy an answering machine anymore, but we have it. It's an old-fashioned answering machine. When you call, it goes directly to the answering machine. The officer can't even pick it up if he wanted to. It goes to the answering machine, leave a message. We check on it just about every single day. And we follow up on all tips. So, and some of the tips we've gotten were because of this park or park somewhere else. A lot of it is because of abandoned vehicles, or they might have a complaint about something. We don't mind. We'll take care of it. And if it doesn't pertain to the police, we'll forward it to the right agency. So if it's something that has to do with the fire department, water department, building department, code enforcement, we'll forward it to them. We have no problem. So I don't know if they have tip lines, but our tip line's fine. If we feel it's not police related, we'll forward it to the right agency to help you out. So please, like I said, if you don't feel comfortable calling dispatch because they ask too much, call our tip line. We have no problem. Like I said, you guys are our eyes and ears. When it comes to things happening in the community, we realize that it's our senior community that actually helps us more than anybody. More than anybody. A lot of the youth will not. They'll be quick to pull their phone out and record us, but they will not help us, whether it's their family or not. Whether their family's the victim of a crime or not, they won't help us. It's always our seniors that want to make sure the neighborhood's clean, make sure the neighborhood's safe. They're the ones that care about the community. And I'm not saying all youth don't care about the community, but from my experience, it's our seniors that actually help us out the most. So we appreciate that, and please keep calling us if no matter how insignificant you think it is, it might be important. So any little information you have, don't think that you're bothering us. You're not. Okay, you're not bothering us whatsoever. So if everybody have any questions? Yes.
I noticed the squad cars over there where the bank used to be at.
Yes.
When I be coming in through the alley, we used to be, that street over there is, we can't come in anymore. So we have to come all the way down the alley. And I noticed youngsters walking up and down the alley all the time tonight. And it takes a garage door to come down.
Okay.
So when we come in the garage, they still got time to come in
in.
behind us. So if we could have a squad car to park at the end of the alley, maybe over there in that other parking lot over there, to, kind of watch it.
And we can do that because when the officer is parked like that, so what happens is when the officer comes to a house and make a report, he does the report in his squad car. So what he'll do is he'll clear the call, go park somewhere, and finish his report inside the police car and the computer in the car, and he'll park somewhere. But that's a good idea. I can tell him, instead of parking there, park somewhere where you can finish a report right here at the end of the alley. No, that's fine. Yeah. We can bring that up. Yeah.
Because when I first started seeing it sitting there, I'm like, what's going on up here? The police out here. But later I found out through a great grandson of mine coming in that he was just observing because he.
Yeah. So we tell our officers if they're not doing anything.
Made him explain himself.
Right. We tell the officers if they're not actively patrolling, make sure you park somewhere that's going to make a difference. So parking next to the senior facilities. Yeah. It's yes. Yeah, and that's why they park there. They park there basically because 8 hours of driving is a lot. So if they're going to park, we don't want them to hide. We want them to park where they're going to be visible, and we'll make sure that they are. And again, if you do see that, we've actually had people report to us, hey, this officer's been parking for 2-3 hours. Call us. Let us know so we can say, hey, move. Go drive around. Nobody needs you to be sitting there all that time. But yeah, let us know about that because we definitely can change that. We can actually have the supervisor check up on the guys. But we like for them to be parked in the business districts, anywhere where there's senior living, to prevent things from happening.
Because there's a lot of traffic going down that alley.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Right across the street. Go across the street. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No problem. No, we're more than welcome to, and more than happy to help you guys out with that. So we could tell our officers different areas to park, and you won't be the first ones to tell us that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They ain't doing no harm.
Yeah, but no, we can still do that. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have an officer park somewhere to be visible. It does deter crime. So, are there any other questions? No. Okay. Yes.
So if you guys are doing, we always talk about calling the tip line and all that. But if they want to call to say they appreciate the assistance that you gave you, that you all provided to the residents, can they do that?
Absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
always try to do that too, because we always say what's not happening, but if you, they've gone above and beyond. Always. It's just like when you go to Walgreens, they give you a survey on their receipts and say, oh, it's them.
Absolutely. And I know the chief is planning, once the weather breaks, we do is, we call walk and talks, where we actually go out and walk the neighborhoods. But besides walking the neighborhoods, we're actually going to meet with you guys. We're going to actually come and have actually conferences here, actually meetings here with the seniors, so that we're all in one place. So we're going to do it with all the senior buildings. So we'll give dates and times. That way, if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, you can write them down in case we can't answer all of them. We'll be able to get back to all of you with the answers. But we will, starting early spring, we're going to start with the senior centers first before we start doing our walk and talks. But we'll come visit every one of them. And we'll come with representatives from our detective bureau, our gang unit, our patrol division. We'll make sure there's somebody here to answer your questions, even if it's from traffic, anything that police related, we'll be able to answer for you guys. Okay?
I know last summer I saw police, they was passing by on bikes.
Yes. So we did open up our bike patrol again. So the thing with our bike patrol is we actually patrol the parks. So we'll be at all the parks. And that normally starts around spring. Once the weather breaks, we do that from spring to about Halloween. So it's we try to do it during decent weather, because it also has to ride that bike throughout the entire city. So, but what they normally do is their assignments are actually patrolling all the parks to make sure the parks are safe. Okay. That's it. All right, well, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys having me here. Thank you. All right.